Hello friends, here with the Lonesome Gamer, and we're back at 7 Ages. We've done already 20 turns, so more than 20 hours of video. And we're now at the beginning of Age 5, so I guess we can, well, probably expect another, I don't know, maybe 10-15 hours, not sure actually. Okay, so what's the situation? The last turns we've seen quite some interesting developments. The Dutch colonized North America. We have a big conflict, or some conflicts in Europe now. The Romans are still the biggest empire in Europe, but they are under pressure by the French. The Russians wiped out big parts of the Polish army. The Arabs showed up here and they are threatening the Armenians. The Ethiopians are here with their pyre. The Satavahana are the biggest country in the world right now. And the Japanese developed to a flourishing empire in the Far East. Okay, the planning is done. First player is yellow, but we start with the start empire phase of the gray player, and he's gonna start the United States. It's now the beginning of era 5. So that is right the moment where the United States can actually enter the game. And they can start in any controlled North American land area. And because it's the same player that controls the Dutch, we might probably start somewhere here, maybe in the Great Plains. Looks like a good idea to me. Although there is a tactician here, still, I guess I'm going to start there. So we get 3 times the age. That means we only start with $15, which isn't that great actually. We can start with the leader, Jefferson. Convert units in starting area. Oh, that's cool. +1 to the front line and support value of ships and aircraft in Age 7. And they have a lot of options to gain glory points. Okay, fine. So let's do this. So here are the United States now, and, well, only a few states, but that's a start. They converted this all units and the leader and the city without reducing it into their own units. So they converted a swordsman, the tactician, and that level 3 city here from the Aztecs into their own city. And I was wrong, they cannot start Jefferson yet, because they are still in Age 4, they have a -2 modifier. Then we come to the production action, and now the yellow player starts, and he has a production. He does a production action with the Japanese. So they gain tons of money. Let's see. And so this one gives them 2. That's a pretty standard one. Then the ones that give them 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4, and that one, that's 5. So that's 15, that's 17 then. 1, 2, 3 for these because of, so that's 15 again because of the wheat. So that's 15 and 17, it's 32, I guess. And then 4 additional for the cities. So this is $36. Amazing. Okay. Well, and actually I see now they are here already. So that brings them then up to 50. Is that so? Yeah, that's... No, wait a second. When they were at 15? Or do they were... Yeah, they were at 15, I guess. So it's 51 even. That's ridiculous. That's just so strong. And they want to be rich, because that gives them a lot of points. Here they are. That's what gives them a lot of points now. Okay. Still, they might consider buying some units. They also want to be the biggest on the sea, which they are right now. But maybe, well, let's see what we find here. Okay, they decided to buy these troops, so that's 8 for them. And that's 9, so that's 17. Okay, so that's 44, $34. Pretty impressive. So they're gonna place now. Wow. Possibly one of these guys. I don't know, somewhere here. Doesn't really matter actually. Another one here. One of these here. Maybe the knight here. And, oh, by the way, I forgot. I got an administrator, Tokugawa, so that means that he's in the capital, so that means he's actually 1 cheaper. All my units are 1 cheaper now. So I bought 6 units, I guess, so that gives me then back $6, if I'm not mistaken here. Okay. And then we see a production action by the Romans. So they're under pressure by the French. This attack on Rome is a threat pretty soon. So it probably makes sense to produce a few more units here. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, no, that doesn't count, 3, so that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 18 overall then. And that one, that's 21. And 1 for the city. That's 22, and that is a level 5 city, so that brings them to 27. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, if I'm not mistaken here. So they gain $8 overall. Oops. Not this one. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So that means basically they can buy, well, for $8. Let's see what we find. Okay, so that's a knight and a catapult for these guys here. Yeah. Okay. We see another production action of Benin. A lot of troops are entering the game during this turn. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 10, $11 income. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So $5 for Benin in the end after paying their maintenance. Because they already have saved one, they are at 6 now. Oh, and of course, Rome is down at 1, and Benin is at 6. Okay, they simply buy 3 infantry, so that brings them then back to 0. And 1 goes here. I'm not sure actually where it goes. I think I'm going to put 1 here. I can upgrade this. Oh no, that will take a while until I can upgrade that. So I'm going to put 1 here and 1 here. I'm going to try to expand here into West Africa actually. And another 1 here. Okay. Okay, and finally, even more production. The Dutch. Okay, they only had an income of $4 or $3. So what they did is they purchased a musketman here in the Low Countries, and that allows them now, not yet. Damn it, they need another unit there to get rid of the disorder. Because there is a city here. So they need 4 units to get rid of the disorder. Oh, that sucks. Maybe I should actually move with a ship pretty soon back. And then maybe I can get rid of this disorder here. I don't know. I somehow have to find a way to gain more income. Well, let's see about that. Okay, let me see. 1, 2, 3, that's not enough. 1, damn it. 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy can do it in 1 turn back to the Low Countries. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that in the next turn. Okay, for now, that's the end of the Dutch turn. And we're going to see another production action by the Armenians this time. They're also threatened by the Arabs, so let's see, they have well, that's 4, and that brings them to 7, and that's then 5 more, so that's a 12, 13, 14 for the cities. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's $6 for them. And they got the administrator. So the units are cheaper, but not the infantry units, because that guy is not in the capital. Still $6, and they saved one, so they are at 7 now. Okay, so they bought a bowman, a catapult, and some light infantry here. And because they got the administrator, they can place it all in here. Okay, so that is now the end of the production phase. Does anybody do a trade and progress action? Yeah, the Zimbabweans. They're going to try to trade. And, well, it's not going to be so easy. We have two interesting cards. That one here. The Habsburgs or the Irish? Well, which one is more interesting? Not sure. The Habsburgs. Irish. Well, maybe even the Irish. So I think I'm going to trade with the Habsburgs. And the Zimbabweans, well, they could not choose trading with the Ethiopians or with Benin. So let's see. We have Ethiopia has a trade modifier of -1. So does Benin. So that doesn't make a difference. They're both more advanced. The Benin player only has 2 cards in his hand. The other one has 3. So maybe it makes more sense to play with the Benin player. So let's do that. And yeah, this guy doesn't have any good cards at all. So he throws in this card here, that number 3. Well, let's draw some cards now for the Habsburgs, for the Zimbabweans first. Oh, that sucks. That's just a 1 then. So overall I have a 4 with a trading modifier of -1. And the Benin player, that's also a 1. So that's a 3 in the end. So the Zimbabweans won that trade. And that allows them now to move, well, first of all, I think they might now move 3 spaces ahead because they've traded with a more advanced empire. So they can move here. And they're nearly through the Dark Ages now. In addition, they gain 2 victory points or 2 glory points for that trade. Okay. And nobody else will do a trade action. And now we're going to see the maneuver actions. And we start with the French. And the French now say, okay, you know what? We cannot go on like that. Doesn't make any sense. I'm going to attack Rome now. But I need the help of all the other people to do this, because it's going to be very hard to do this fight. So, but we all want to stop the red player, right? So let's work together and give me some good combat cards now. So let's see what we get here. Okay, so basically what happened is this guy here, the Armenian player, he says, hey, if the Arabs now show up here, I kind of want to keep my cards, the charge and the barrage cards. I want to keep them. I would have played one card of these two if the French wouldn't have gotten enough help from elsewhere. But the grey player, he played Schwerpunkt. Choose one side after forces are committed but before they are revealed during a round of conflict resolution. That side doubles its unit's value for that round. Okay, so basically that means simply the French double their unit value. And the French themselves, they had that card here, outflanked. Choose one side during conflict resolution. That side halves its unit's value in conflict. So that means the Romans have to halve their value. So now it looks really bad for Rome. Let's see. And the French have Jeanne d'Arc, a tactician. So they can choose, they can draw a second card if they choose to do so. We don't have any terrain modifiers here. Well, just let me see. Maybe there's something else. Oh, I don't think so. No. Okay. So, now, the French, that's 10, that's 13, that's 22, that's exactly 25. So, if they double their value, they have a strength of 50. Now these guys, that's 10, that's 20, 30, so that would be 41. But they gotta half that. So I guess they end up with 16, huh? Yeah, probably. Okay, so that's 50 against 16. Well, that's pretty obvious. So the attacking player can draw twice. That's a 4. I'm going to keep that. So that's 64. And the defender, okay, that's an 18. Oh boy, what's the difference here? 56, 46. And if we half that, we end up with 23. So that means the attacker could keep 23 units. And all these units, all these Roman units are now destroyed. So Jeanne d'Arc did a great job here with a little help from her friends. Okay. The Pope is killed. The leader here is also killed. Rome is reduced to a level 3 city and is no longer the capital, but a neutral city now. Well, actually, it's not a neutral city. It's, of course, the French city. Okay. And now the Romans really, well, they really should consider destroying or discarding their empire. It might make sense now, but it's not over yet. Let's see. Okay, Jeanne d'Arc is still alive here. What is this guy? He was killed, exactly. Was the artist of the Romans. So, Well, what a battle. Seems like this long reign of the Roman Empire in Europe eventually comes to an end now. Okay, no other maneuvers? Probably not. Well, that's actually wrong. That was the French maneuver action. And then we're going to see the Russians doing a maneuver action. So basically, they could attack here in the Pripyat marshes, but I think they don't want to do that because, well, they could actually guess that the Polish Empire will be discarded during this turn, so it makes maybe sense just to move maybe with these guys here. On the other hand, maybe we should destroy them. I mean, there is still a little bit of a threat of them. I think I'm going to destroy. I'm going to attack them. So, let's see. These guys. Okay. So let's take simply these units here and attack the Pripyat marshes here. Okay. So front line and support values here. And well, that's again the red player, and again he doesn't have any great cards. And wow. So we see an attack, 18 for the Russians and 9 for the Poles. So the Russians draw first. Okay, that's a 23. Oh boy. And a 10 for the Poles. Shouldn't forget the defensive modifier here of +1 for the forest, but that equals out with this combat modifier for infantry. So in the end we have a difference of 13, so the Russian player can keep all its units and the Poles are destroyed here. Now they only control here Germany and Denmark, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna be discarded. Okay, let's see. I think, well, they're gonna hold on to the Habsburgs here. Maybe they're gonna start them. I don't know actually. Okay, fine. So this is then the end of the Russian turn here. And we have another maneuver action for the Vietnamese. What they can do, because of their Buddhism, they can remove one disorder. And let's place that here. And then they can actually move with one of these units in here. Well, let's take that one. And now they can also remove this disorder marker here, and that guy will actually move to Hammam, and that city is destroyed. Okay. And they're growing bigger and bigger now. Then we see a maneuver action by the Ethiopians. So they're going to go basically with all their troops through the Sudan. They leave one here, and then here to Egypt. So that city is destroyed. They will gain the elephant. The Sudan elephant, that one here, that goes now in their force pool. And well, they control now this very fertile area. They might be no match for the Arabs, but if the Arabs attack them, even if they destroy them, it might give the Armenians then enough time to consolidate themselves, maybe grab Syria and Assyria and kind of establish a solid position here in the Near East. Okay. So, we're done with the maneuver action. And now we come to the destiny action. The Satavahana, they're doing a destiny action. They need some good trade cards for Benin. And they could also consider discarding Benin. It's not sure yet what they do. They got the Habsburgs here. So if Rome should die, if Rome will be discarded, it might be an interesting idea to play the Habsburgs here, because then we got that big vacuum here. Well, actually, it's not such a big vacuum. There is French showing up too, but maybe Central Europe might be then an interesting area to expand into for the Habsburgs. So I'm going to keep that. I wonder if I should keep that overslapped card. It's not a bad card, actually. So maybe I will. No, actually, I think I won't. I'll throw that card away. It's not that great. And then I'm going to draw 5 new cards. Get Sudanese, which can be also played. Well, that could be interesting. In case that the Ethiopians will get destroyed, we could play the Sudanese right away, right after, and but I'm not sure yet. I think the Habsburg are the better option. 2, that's the Medes, we cannot play them. Okay. The Venetians, well, they also can't be played. Wrong H. They can only be played in h3 and 4. Yeah. 2 more cards. The Zanga. Well, they also can't be played. But that Loyal Mercenary is a pretty cool card, actually. And the last card, the Siamese. Well, they can be played, so they could be an option. But they would show up here again in Vietnamese or in Southeast Asia and had to compete with the Vietnamese, which is not easy right now. But at least that's a good card for some trade action. Okay. And we might consider that. Apart from that, we don't have really good trade cards, sadly, but at least one. Okay, so that was the Destiny action. Civilize. Well, the Arabs, they are doing a Civilize action. That's pretty vital for them because you might think, hey, why don't they simply spread out? They have this big pile of units here. But they want to play Islam as soon as possible before some guy gets the great idea and plays Christianity on them. Because then it's going to be hard for them to get rid of that again. And they definitely want to be Islam, you know. They got to make sure that they get this religion. Because now, at the moment they play this card, they gain 3 additional glory points. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, so Islam is now a really, well, kind of aggressive religion. Because they attack a non-Islamic empire and they take a land area from non-Islamic empire, they gain 1 glory point. So that's really, really strong. Especially if they attack now here the Armenian Empire. The Armenians are Christian. So if they, for every land area they win, they gain a glory point. If they gain a land area from an Islamic empire, though, they would lose a glory point. So it's basically not the best idea to attack other Islamic empires. But now we got that historical fight, sadly, between Christian and Islamic empires here. Okay, so that was an artifact played, and that means also that that the yellow player gains a glory point for that. Then they can actually promote a leader. And they are, well, simply can draw. We have 2 picks here. No leader. And that's an explorer for the Arabs. Well, that ain't so great. They can move through the desert with this guy. That's an advantage. They can move through the desert and don't have to leave one behind. So maybe it could be it's a simple way to grab Yemen. But overall, They could now also move through Arabia, for example, and attack Mesopotamia without having to leave a unit in Arabia. That is one of the options of the explorer. Okay. So, and then they could urbanize. That allows them simply to improve their city. And that's basically it then. Any more civilized actions? Yeah, the Aztecs. Well, they wanted to build some cities, but now they're under heavy pressure here. So, it's going to be hard for them now. It's probably also time for them to get discarded, I guess. Let's see, let's do this one step after another. So first they could actually play some cards, but they don't have any great cards. They could promote a leader. So they are now in H3. So they got 2 picks here. Okay, that is no leader. Second try. Oh, a philosopher and a scientist. That's pretty cool. They love that scientist because that now allows them to go ahead with the progress marker, even though they're in a dark age. That's definitely good. So they're going to place that scientist here at the capital. Still, our situation is pretty desperate now that they've lost that cool city there. Okay. Well, then they could actually urbanize. So I guess they're simply going to build 2 cities here. One in the Badlands and another one in this one, Saskatchewan. Oh, damn, let's take not the eastern city, let's take kind of a western city here. Oh, damn it, where is that? Okay, here we go. There it is. Fine. That's basically all they could do now. And nobody else does a civilized action. So finally we come to the discard empire phase, and it's the Poles that will disappear now. There is no more hope for them. They had a few good turns, but then the Russians simply entered play and more or less wiped them out. Okay, so that means now this guy disappears, that thing disappears, this one goes also away here. Okay. Fine. And of course we got to remove the markers here. So there we go. Then we come to the progress phase. So these go on, and now the Ethiopians and the Japanese enter H5. That means Tokugawa dies. There we are. These guys move on. So do they. Here we are. What about them? Does anybody have a scientist here? Well, I doubt it. Nope. So Benin and Zimbabwe, they will stay here. The Armenians also stay in a dark age. But the Aztecs, because of their scientist, they can ignore this effect. They move on now. Okay, so let's count some glory points now. So the yellow player is doing not bad now, although he's the last player on the glory track, but I think he might catch up now. The Japanese, well, they will generate a lot of points. They control their homeland. They are the biggest seafaring nation in the world. That gives them 2 points. They are the wealthiest nation in the world, 2 more points. And for each wheat symbol, they gain another point. So that gives them 3 more points. That's amazing. They gain 8 points. Wow. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That brings them here. 206. But that's not over yet. The Arabs, their homeland, and they're the biggest Islamic country. So that's 4 points for the Arabs. Although they only control 1 area, but it's just amazing. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the French, so they control their home area. Now let's see. They're not biggest in Europe actually. So that's basically it. That's just 1 more point for the French. But they made a big leap forward actually. The Romans, or the red player, well, he's not doing that well anymore. So they lost control of Rome. That means they will lose 1 glory point. Are they number 1 in Europe? Not sure. I think they still are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is 1 more than the Russians have. So they are indeed still the biggest European empire. So it gives them 3 points. They have 2 artifacts. Is there anybody else having more artifacts? The Dutch have an artist. So that doubles the number of artifacts. That means they have also 2, but because they're ahead in turn order, they are number 1. Apart from that, they control a philosopher which breaks ties. So that means, pretty sure they have the most artifacts here. So that gives them 2 more points. But that's it then. So that's 3, 2, minus 1. So that would be then 4 points for the Romans. Still very good. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we might even consider holding on to these points. And I forgot about the Great Wall, but doesn't matter now. Just another artifact here. Okay. The Zimbabweans, well, they are still number 1 in Africa and 1 for their homeland. That gives them 3 points, but because they're in a dark age, it's only 2. 2. So it wasn't a terrible turn for red, but considering the glory points, but it wasn't as good as some other turns were before, that's for sure. Okay, Benin simply gains 1 point for their homeland. That's the green player. He's probably the last player now. The Satavahana, 4 points for them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the Russians, let's see. It's 1 point for their homeland. And they're only second in Europe, so that gives them 1 point in Europe. Well, so only 2 points for the Russians. So they now fell a little behind the yellow player. Now, we might see the gray player now catching up again to the red one. The United States. Okay. Well, as far as I can see, no points for the United States. No, that's pretty sure. Nothing here. They don't even get something for their homeland. The Dutch. Okay, that's 1 for their homeland. 2 for having the most colonies. Now they have Rembrandt as an artist. So that gives them an additional point here, and this counts as 2. So that means they have the second most artifacts and therefore gain 2 points here. So that is then 5. How much money do they have? Only very little. So it's 5 points for the Dutch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Vietnamese, 1 for their homeland, 1 for Southeast Asia. So what about Asia? I think they might be third in Asia. Okay, that's pretty sure that they are number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Damn, that was close actually. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Okay. So they are number 3 in Asia. So that gives them 1 point then in Asia. And they're definitely not very rich. So overall it's 3 points for them. So it wasn't that great actually. And finally the pink player, and he's not doing good. The Armenians, well, okay, so that's 1 point for their homeland. And are they the second biggest Christian empire? They might be. Who else is Christian? The Romans, they are the biggest one, that's for sure. The Dutch, well, they control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas. No, because this one, only 4, because the Low Countries, there is disorder. They also control 4 areas, but because the Dutch are ahead in turn order, that means they are not the second biggest Christian empire. So that's only 1 point for the Armenians. The Aztecs, well, okay, let's see. They are okay, so that's 1 for their home area. They control 5 areas in America, but desert doesn't count when harvesting glory. So that means it's only 4, which brings them to a tie with the Dutch. Therefore, but they have a philosopher here. So that's a tiebreaker to their advantage. So they are biggest in the Americas. That's cool. The cities, well, I think we can forget that. Only 5 points in cities here. No chances here. And also not for the money. So 2 points for the Aztecs. And the Ethiopians, well, only 1 point for them. So that was really bad, and now pink fell definitely behind. But these 3 players are pretty close. Yellow, pink and green, they are still doing fine. And as I said, yellow did a big leap from the last position to the 3rd position. Not bad here. Okay, so there'll be some interesting decisions in the next turn, especially how long will Rome survive? When will it be discarded? That's going to be definitely an interesting question. We'll probably see, although it's not sure, but we might see the Aztecs vanish. And, well, the Arabs will probably start an attack pretty soon, either onto Ethiopia or onto Mesopotamia. Let's see. Hope to see you then, or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.